In this video, we're going to talk about 5 things you should keep in mind when hiring your next real estate agent. Because while they all may pass the same licensing exam, some agents are extremely better and more effective than others. So stick around to find out how picking the right agent can keep more money in your pocket. Hi, I'm Robert Webb, team leader with the Destination DNJ Home Selling Team. My team and I are here to help you navigate all things real estate, so make sure you subscribe for more, and now let's jump into it. The first thing you want to keep in mind when you are looking for your next real estate agent is finding one who is local to the areas you are looking in. I cannot stress this enough. Real estate is highly local, and an agent that understands and sells in the towns that you are going to be buying or selling in is going to be a big advantage to have in your corner. They are going to understand how value changes from neighborhood to neighborhood, town to town, school district to school district. Take my hometown of Hillsborough, NJ as an example. I know that people are usually going to be willing to pay a higher price to be in the Woods Road Elementary School District than compared with others. I know that people are going to pay more to be in Country Classics than in Woodfield Estates. I know which areas are prone to flooding and can advise accordingly. We recently had an agent from New York come and sell one of our listings. She had never sold in this area before, didn't belong to our MLS, and didn't know the neighborhoods or understand the values here. And because of that, I was able to help capitalize and help my seller get the best possible price for their home. But the unfortunate reality is that she was advising the buyers on the other side of that transaction, and they could have been much better served working with someone who understands this specific market. I wouldn't go to New York City tomorrow and try to sell in a co-op because I do not understand the logistics of that market and wouldn't want to put my client at a disadvantage. Number 2, find an agent that has great relationships with other professionals you are going to be using. Rockstar agents know rockstar professionals, and these other people are going to make your life and your transaction a whole lot easier. A great realtor is going to know which professionals to work with, which ones to caution against, and they are constantly networking with other agents and hear stories and have their own experiences and client stories to fall back on. They are going to want to make sure you are well taken care of. And since we are in a service industry, they're going to want things to move along as smoothly as possible. So if you are a seller and you need people like a stager, a contractor, or a handyman, or maybe even a mover, we got you covered. And if you're buying, having a strong recommendation for people like inspectors, tradesmen, or title companies is going to be extremely important to your success within the transaction. At the end of the day, it is your decision if you want to use these people, but a good agent is going to give you a strong head start. And to clear up a common misconception I hear a lot, I have never taken any kind of referral fee for a recommendation to another professional. I choose these people for their professionalism and their service, and ultimately how they can benefit you in your transaction. Next up, make sure you find a real estate agent who is really going to dig into your wants and needs. On the selling side, this is going to be things like understanding your ideal time frame. Where are you going next? How much is left on your mortgage? Are there any kids or pets or tenants that we need to work around as we sell your property? Amongst other things. Really getting clear on what you want, where you are going, and how you want to get there is going to allow me to tailor a plan that suits you and your goals. On the buying side, it might be things like, where are you moving from? Do you have a current lease that we need to work around? Where is your job, and what do you want your commute to look like? How does your budget work in the towns you really want to live in? And most importantly, understanding your crystal clear criteria on what you are looking for. I'm going to be making a video about how you can come up with your crystal clear criteria for your home search and how you can use that to work together with your realtor to find ultimate success. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to be notified when that gets posted. By finding an agent that is really going to dig in and understand just means they are going to be able to serve you at a super high level. They are going to keep you on track with your goals So even if something happens or comes up, they are going to be there to remind you of what is truly important from the beginning. I see this a lot with commuting to work. People will go further out to get a larger home and find something cheaper to buy. But if commuting was one of the most important things to you in the beginning, is a larger house really going to be worth it if it means you have to drive an extra 45 minutes a day in a car? Or if a grocery store trip becomes a 40-minute round trip instead of a 12-minute? And not saying that criteria can't change over time, but a good agent who understands what you want can help you think critically in the moment as you're making decisions that will greatly impact your life and your finances. And that leads me to number 4, finding an agent who isn't afraid to tell you like it is. A lot of people think a real estate agent's main job is to post pictures on the internet for sellers and send listings and open doors for buyers. The reality is that's only a small part of our jobs. A much more important job, and the one that directly affects your wallet, is keeping our pulse on the market day in and day out and being an advisor to you. Since we are doing this every single day and dealing with multiple transactions at a time and constantly networking, both with others in our area and outside of it, a good agent is going to have a deep knowledge of what is going on in that housing market at that exact moment. And while real estate definitely moves slower than the stock market, it doesn't mean that things can't change quickly. Take 2022, for example. In my local market of Central and North New Jersey, we saw 2022 come in blazing hot. Jan 1 hit and there were multiple offers everywhere. Buyers were bidding up properties, waiving contingencies, putting down non-refundable deposits, and more. But then comes April, when the Fed starts to change its policies and subsequently interest rates started to rise. And there was a lot of fear in the marketplace, and a lot of that demand pulled back. And we had 6 to 8 weeks of a lull where things came to a screeching halt in my market. Homes still sold, but they were selling at list price or even under list price for a short time. But fast forward to today, where multiple offers are back. Not as heavily as they were in January, but the prices have started to come back up. And if your agent isn't giving you this information in real time about what is happening, or just telling you what you want to hear, well, that doesn't usually end well. It leads to a lack of trust on both sides, since the realtor doesn't understand why you aren't acting with what the market is demanding, and the client can't understand why they aren't being successful in the marketplace when they're working with a professional to guide them. This is probably the most important one on my list, because if your agent either doesn't fully stand the market or isn't telling you the full truth, well then how are you supposed to make an informed decision that is best for you and your family? And finally, make sure you find an agent who really knows how to negotiate. This is going to be an agent with a deep understanding of the process and the intricacies of how things work. For example, if you were on the seller side and you got multiple offers, and you execute an offer and now the buyer is starting to play games in inspections, a strong agent knows how to negotiate and retain the upper hand on behalf of you by going to the other offers first and seeing if anyone still has interest. If there are people out there that still want to buy your house tomorrow, well, now you have leverage to go into those inspection negotiations knowing you have multiple options. Or if you're on the buying side, you want an agent who understands exactly how appraisal language works. Like the market we have been in for the past few years, how appraisal waivers and limitations are worded is extremely important. And I personally was able to reduce the purchase price of the house I just bought this year by $15,000 during the appraisal process due to a newer agent on the seller side and my deep understanding of the language and the process. I was able to couple that with my experience of being on the seller side and the psychology there to help my client, which in this case was me, on the buyer side to create a winning scenario and save $15,000 and even get some additional appliances thrown in. If an agent doesn't understand these nuances, then none of that information is going to get passed along to you. And maybe you saved 0.5% on commission by going with one agent over a more expensive one, but then you lost 3 times that in the nitty-gritty negotiations. I hope you found this information helpful. It would be super interesting to hear from you all. If there is something you think I missed that you think is relevant when it comes to finding the perfect agent for you, I would love to hear about it down below in the comments. And if you like this type of content, make sure you like this video and subscribe. And if you want to get started working with me and my team in North and Central New Jersey, I want to invite you to click the first link down below in the description. And my team and I would love to have a chat with you about your home needs and what you're looking to do and how we can help. See you in the next one.